Yeah, the tunes don't write themselves. Feeling a bit of a musical mood. Plants are going well, so okay. So, what have we got today? I think we can make some supposition today. This is day 47, I think it is. Could be 46, might be 47. Whatever it is on the thing, I'll check it out. Yeah, this one's getting from the robustness of this and the move on that one with the less robustness. I'm making the surmise that with a bigger pot, you got more anabiosis down the bottom of the 10 litre bucket. Therefore, the iron has to be down there in the anaerobic condition sort of thing to get the big move sort of thing. And from the look of the flower stem from this and that, since they're starting to do the same sort of thing, I'm assuming there's some sort of comparison between nitrogen, I would say. So whether it's the same form of nitrogen, it's just the fact that you've got nitrogen coming in, assume probably coming up from underneath and going down from the bark chips below sort of thing. So that's one of the advantages of having this capping on the top. We can now work out that really we don't want the capping on the top. We want the iron to be right down the bottom of the bucket, and maybe only half the bottom of the bucket. It might be like, you want half to 3/4 down the bottom, and the rest is like a sand topping sort of thing. Because yeah, this one over here seems to be getting better and better at the moment with that nice glossy look, and that's in the deep sand with the newspaper cellulose to one side. So you think of the newspaper cellulose in a way a bit like the Poccasin, but it's more to do with the evergreen hardwood. So you got to think of your it's your evergreen hardwood. So yeah, what is it? Is it the white wood or is it the brown wood? So we're still going to have to work. Being basically bays, lollylog pines, and all that sort of stuff. Lollylog, I don't know. I'm not an expert on this in the field over there. No, not an expert. I can't get my tongue around these sort of weird sounding names. I can about manage the Monterey pine, but we just used to call it Pinus radiata. We never actually knew it by its colloquial American term name. So now, having said that, we've set up a small zinc pot, and we've got a zinc bucket. So we might actually get better, faster, more consistent results out of the zinc bucket than this little pot here, you see. So I'll put these in here. So we've got this one here, not doing really much at the moment, not even making a move as far as I can tell. So hopefully from this bucket over here, when I get some more fly traps, it'll be nicely settled in. I can put it looks like it's starting to get really nicely settled in. I can put some fly traps in like this one in here, and if it doesn't make a move, we may want to put the zinc idea onto the back burner. But they say that the sands around Perth are zinc rich, so that's why we're trying it out, fellas. So the zinc has also got to be anaerobic down the bottom sort of thing. So yeah. So basically, it's just the organism down in the bottom requiring zinc or iron, and we might end up doing a combo. But it depends on if we get any effect from this. It could be like what do they call it? An adjuvant or something. This does the business, but by adding the zinc to the iron, you get an improvement in growth. But on its own, no effect. It's like what do they call it? Adjuvant. It adds to and improves the effect of the other component, but on its own, usually has no effect, So they put these things into, vaccines and stuff to improve the uptake or the overall effect of the vaccine over time, sort of thing. And but on its own, it has no effect. It's not part of the vaccine in a way, sort of thing. It's just to improve the reaction with the body to make the overall effect stronger over time, lasts longer. So if you don't have this thing, your vaccine runs out in a few years. You put this in, you get a stronger response from the body, sort of thing, and you've got protection up to 10, 15 years or something like that. Sort of thing. That's the idea, anyway. So sort of thing, from a human perspective, sort of thing. But so we're going to find out anyway. So whether this one being slowly over time, as the organism comes up from the bottom, I assume, grows up from the bottom, this will go green, but that may actually stay pink or pinky red. In theory, probably matching this colour here, because we've got this assumption that the organism can exist in leaf bases. So how the plant actually keeps it in that nice pink to red active state where it's actually producing, probably working its hardest, I would assume. We don't know whether it's just pumping in sugars in there, because these plants are supposed to be glycophytes, of course. In other words, they have glucose, where most other plants, like sugarcane and things like that, they have sucrose. Now, the important thing about glucose is it's a reducing sugar, so it can actually reduce things like copper. Copper's quite easy to reduce. Of course, there's a lot of copper in peat. Of course, it's the highest micronutrient found in peat and other peat-related products, as I've told you many times before. So, if you're going to have an effect, that would probably be one pathway you could have an effect. You could have, you build yourself up with glucose in there, and of course you can use it as a reducing sugar to reduce copper. So if the organism can't reduce the copper itself and it needs it for fixed nitrogen from the atmosphere or something other than iron, the plant can help it reduce the copper by using its glucose, of course. That could be a way it works. I don't know. A lot of work, and it's not my area of expertise, all this sort of biochemistry sort of thing. It would still take you many years to piece it together in the lab, sort of thing. So, but by next year, March of next year, 2018, I think we'll have a much clearer idea of what's going on, because I'll keep plugging these things out, and we'll keep getting data back, and we'll keep data matching, and so on and so forth. And I think we're just going to end up with something like down the bottom, newspaper sailors with a bit of iron and a few other bells and whistles, with a nice orchid bark, whether composted or uncomposted, don't know as yet, on the top. And we're probably going to get like 2 forms of nitrogen, but it seems that kicks off so much faster than that one. This took a little while to kick off. Wasn't it a couple of weeks or something, or a week or a half or something? So, suddenly you'll get growth from that, and then when this kicks in, if you have it on top, you'll double the sort of, growth, and it could actually become like, rather than being straight linear, it could become somewhat exponential. So, by the end of the season, you'll just have humongous plants, sort of thing. But that's when we knock out all the bells and whistles. So, yeah, it's a bit of a dull day. I'm coming to the idea that when I have a dull day here, as long as it's cool, I only do one flush, basically. I'm getting there. And the other thing I've got with the idea with the flush, it's better to have less of a flush, not so much water, because when I tried flooding this thing, and the plants seem to be set back a bit, whether there's organism, little black mites or something, and they're drowning when I do the big flush, but with a little flush they can hang on just long enough to survive, and then they scurry about the surface, and they're back to chewing up this green stuff. I think that's what they do. They chew this green, whatever it is, algae, cyanophyta up. I don't know what it is yet. Hasn't given me any indication of what it might be. So, anyway, and the other idea is you just fill it up until you get your first steady drip from the bucket. That could be telling you how little you need to put into the pot. So there's another thing I'm working on, improving the concept of the double flush sort of thing. Maybe, as I said, on a dullish day when it's cool in the air, when the air, this temperature, I feel 17, 19 today. If there's bright sun, but it's you get spots of bright sun, but the temperature's still cool, only a single flush. Maybe I'm working on that, I don't know. But when it's hot and sunny, definitely a double flush, I would say. And whether that's because the sunlight is impinging on the peat and it's breaking it down, so that's why you need the double flush, because you're actually flushing components down to the nether regions of the pot on a hot day. Whereas on a dull day like this, there's not much breakdown. So if you do a double flush, you're just flushing them out the pot. There's not enough to be sustained in the pot. So a single flush will suffice. if that's the word, good use of the word suffice. Anyway, yeah, the aluminium is putting up a, I don't know, go to spot, oh, I wasn't spot coating on the whole bloody thing. Okay, it ruins the overall effect for the distance shots I found. Oh yes, and the iron, yeah, that's really, look at that, fellas. Definitely iron is definitely in somehow. We can improve on the iron. Oh yeah, I need a... And this one seems to be, I don't know, all these ones with the cellulose on top, they're all, yeah, they're obviously definitely, either there's something in the cellulose, or you do have to do something, otherwise they go into this sort of funny stage. Anyway, clear this off, and I think this is basically the end of the clip, basically.